Hello and welcome guys to another deck profile. We had our weekly locals on Tuesday and sadly only 2 rounds because we're just 6 players and the down pair in the second round lost unfortunately. However, we still got a victorious one, which is BT26 Broly. And today I want you to introduce the deck. The deck was played by, on Discord, Frank Draben. I think a lot of you know him. I kind of forgot your pre-name, or your first name. I'm really sorry about that. And today I will give you a quick rundown of the deck with some comments from him to give you a little bit perspective about everything. So basically, this is the blue Broly deck. It never saw play in European finals or anything before because it is very, very unison dependent. And as you can see, it's a 1 cost 1 Z energy Z unison. So Chaozu just necked it immediately. Or you had to invest 2 energy to let it live for 1 turn. But then again, it's too strong to only let it live for 1 turn. So this was really unfortunate. Luckily, Kitku got errated, so this deck might see some play now. I will quickly give you some hints. So basically this deck is an X evolve deck, so you play basically the 3 cost for free, because as soon as you have your Z Unison in play, you can play him, and then you basically evolve over 5 costs that draw something, can swing again. You can basically stun opponents' cards. This one is in particular very good because you can basically bottom deck something, swing with him, and then when you return a card from under your Broly cards back to your hand, you can choose one of your Broly cards and switch it to active mode. So this effect combined with the boss monster is pretty huge. Basically you can play him in turn 3 by just X evolving, swing, activate main if you went second, switch him to active mode again, swing double strike, use the effect of this one, swing again with double strike, and so on for just 1 energy investment, which is quite huge as long as this card is still in play, which to be honest isn't that, it can happen a lot because all of the Brolys have a once per turn protection on the leader, basically stating when your blue Broly BR card would be removed from a battle area by a skill or KO'd, if 1 or more Broly BR cards are under that card, return all of them to their owner's hands instead. So you can save every Broly basically once per turn as long as a card is underneath, and it basically gets your opponent to try to remove it more and more and more. So you need a double removal to really remove one of the Brolys. Yeah, this is quite huge. Quick matchups, at least what I got as text. Round 1 was against Green Vegito. Went second, won by turn 4. Heroic Prospect came in clutch turn 3 because it basically stopped the turn. I think the opponent didn't have a dormant for the next turn or wasn't expecting many swings, so he went with Uneasing instead. I swung through it a few times by going up to the chain and finished off with Beast. Like I just showed you, you can easily produce many swings with that deck. It's pretty simple, and then again you have Beast, so you can restand him even once more. As soon as the opponent has 3 energy, this card in this deck is brutal because it can swing like 3 times combined with this one, 4 times combined with this one, and this one it's crazy how much aggressive potential you have. The Unison also makes it possible to run God Slicing Black Kamehameha, which is pretty huge to stop basically any floodgate. And you have a pretty huge hand because you like recycle all the Brolys under the other Brolys. And then again, you can also run Heroic Prospect because you have the Z Unison in play. We have an interesting split of super combos across the board here. I think you can basically switch it up a little bit. I think Zeno is good for defensive matters. I don't know why Kefla in particular. Maybe if you're also under this video, you can comment on that a little bit. And yeah, the rest is basically establish this one, evolve, and then go ham and crazy with that one. Round 2 was against Finn, so this was against me. I played Finn on that Tuesday. Went second, we finished turn 3 or 4 if I'm correct. Yeah, I think you had a rough turn 1, Plus, as discussed, deck feels favorable in this matchup because of the X-evolving part on top of the skillless part. Yeah. So basically, I went first with Finn. On turn 3, I stole his Broly, so I removed it twice so I could basically awaken. And then I underestimated a little bit on how aggressive he could win, so I tapped all out because I knew, well, I had this Floodgate live. But he played around my Finn Floodgate, and then he did so many swings I couldn't defend it even by being on 6 life with token negates, with Gohan negate, with everything, because it was just too much. So this deck was really crazy, and if you're not expecting so many swings, you can really go down. Plus, like he said, Finn is not a very favorable matchup because at the end of the turn, all the cards you put under your Luda come back to your opponent's side as skillless. However, that doesn't matter because he can still use them to X-evolve over them. So the matchup is really, really horrible. Then a few more comments from him. Overall, super fun deck which feels also strong, having the ability to save each of your battle cards once per turn and go plus in hand for doing so is massive. Often makes the opponent play a bit differently by being forced to kill your battle cards twice, plus you naturally avoid mid-battle tricks like haze, etc. It can generate heavy number of swings turn 3 plus for little energy. Having the 8-drop X-evolving on top of the free 3 cost for 1 feels huge. Yes, so even if your chain gets removed, you can just play him for free, because you most likely will have your Unison in play. And then you can activate main, limit 1, basically X-evolve this guy on top of the 3-drop. So basically for 1 energy you get him out as soon as you have this one in your hand, and you will most likely have him in hand because you can look for him while using that one and comboing. Or you can save him when somebody's trying to remove your Broly, as long as your leader's skill is not negated, which can only do release from evil if I'm not correct, if I'm not wrong. So yeah. Some more comments. 6 promo is super good. If linked with the 8-drop on board to untap it for 1 more big swing, crazy damage. Unison is the weakest part, but its auto usually should allow you to save it for the next turn to start your chain again for free. Also, God Slicing is online just in case, so that's also nice. Since Kid Ku is gone, this Unison will most likely stick on the board if you're not playing against green and the green Gohan rare, for example. You can use this Activate Battle, very important, even if you're not swinging with something, because there is no condition here. You just press +1 and then you can do this, but you don't have to do this. This is really, really great. So if your opponent doesn't swing immediately into Unison, you can +1 and then you have 3 markers, and your opponent can basically do anything against this. Plus, if you leave 1 energy open on turn 2, you can still respond with Heroic, and that should save Paragus a lot. Also, he has this auto. When this card is attacked, choose one of your Broly cards and you may switch the target of the attack to it if you do negate the skill. So even if your opponent is trying to swing into lead, you could still redirect it. For example, in your leader, then take the hit, then you're at 5 life. Because when you awaken, you go down to 6. Oh no, you're already at 5. So it doesn't matter either way. You can still redirect it to your leader, and then if you're at 5 or less life, for example, you can also respond with token negates to save the Unison, or you can +1 and then you have 3 markers, so this really feels huge. Yeah, also more comments. Other than that, no special spice. I think Shu's Deluge of Power feels nice to have some additional push with your big swings if needed. But other than that, mainly chain stuff plus some usual blue. Solid tier 2, I think, but yeah, 2-0 is probably not enough data. Thanks for coming to my TED Talk. This is all the comments I got. I agree, I think this deck is really underrated, and since Kid Ku is gone, I could imagine seeing a lot more of these decks running around. Especially because it cheats out so many huge swings for free. And it can also play very defensive, right? Locking your opponent's cards with this one, for example, or was it with this one, I think. Drawing, making hand advantage if your opponent tries to remove it. It's a really good deck. That being said, if you have any more questions for that deck, feel free to ask them under the comment section. Also, don't forget to like and subscribe the video, and if you're interested in joining our locals, there's a link in the direction to our Discord channel. We do weekly locals, all information regarding pricing, TPs, and so on will be on the Discord. And then, we hear from each other most likely next week or this week. And have a good one. Bye.